Welcome, Sagittarius, to your Jupiter Direct 4-month deep dive forecast. Jupiter, your gorgeous ruler, the planet of hope, optimism, and expansion, has been in a retrograde since the 11th of November. If you do have planetary positions in Sagittarius from around about 13 degrees to 27 degrees, you may have felt that retrograde quite keenly. But did you know, Sagittarius, that when Jupiter moved into Cancer last June, a sign it's exalted in, it loves to be there, it was choked off by the restrictive energy of the greater malefic Saturn. Jupiter being the greater benefit meant, therefore, in the eighth house, which can be about long-term financial gains, was inhibited by Saturn's reluctance to be more speculative. The fifth house very much about chance, but it can also be about romance, and the eighth house can be about intimacy. If you haven't found it so easy, if you're single, particularly around financial, business, or romantic strands, it wouldn't be a complete surprise, and the last 4 months of retrograde may have amplified that. But now, from the 10th, 11th of March, depending on where you are, through to the end of June, Jupiter is traveling forwards. But Jupiter is reflective more of its Piscean rulership rather than your sign, in the sense that that's a water sign like Cancer. So it's about how we think, it's about the atmosphere, it's very much about perception. But the eighth house is about deep transformation, and Jupiter, as you know, can be about knowledge. So, as much as there may have been challenges over the last 8 or 9 months, there's definitely opportunities over the next 4 months. I'm going to share with you your event chart on screen, really clarify all the strengths within that and the weaknesses, but also share with you the upcoming aspects that are going to be forged, because there is really a window of opportunity for you. At the end of this forecast, you have a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, finance, energy, and work. I'm astrologer Patrick Hound. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now. So on the screen is Jupiter at 15 degrees. That's particularly symbolic. It's known as the point of greatest exaltation. It's the midpoint, of course, between the start and the end of the sign of Cancer, but it's linking to Mercury very strongly. Now, Mercury's not at its best in Pisces, it's in retrograde, and it's in the fourth house. It's like meeting someone that you really like in some ways, but somehow or another, some of their history is not really what you were looking for. But don't think that that person and this chart don't have possibilities. Because if you are thinking, for example, of doing something with a property, whether you're doing something from working from home to make extra money, or you are wanting to be more speculative in a way that didn't work out last June, this event chart is much more promising. And the first thing to notice is the moon is in your zodiac sign, the first house. In fact, it's in a quarter moon with the sun in Pisces. The implication there for you is that it's important not to rush at this time. The fourth house energy manifesting in Pisces is a feeling vibe. It is to do with the foundations, emotional and physical security. And that's why it's important not to be too hasty. Having said that, what we do have is a quincunx between your ruler and the moon. So balancing what you want as an individual and the connection with others may need some care over these next just over 3 months. But what you do have at this time is the link between Saturn and Venus and Pluto. Although Venus applying to Saturn at the weekend may have shown up some tensions around a love relationship, they also probably made you much more aware of what you really needed. But they're actually in a very strong link with Pluto in the part of your scope to do with how you think. Your thinking can continue to be transformed. This alliance between them in that sector of speculation is very constructive insofar as the emotional dimension of Pisces linking into Jupiter between Mercury and Jupiter is going to see you looking beneath the surface and being aware all the time of your emotional base. But that doesn't mean to say you can't still move forwards in that dynamic way that you're so well known for. But also Venus, the planet of money, moves forwards into Taurus, and on the 14th of April, 12th to the 14th of April, is going to link in a sextile with Jupiter. So something around the practical matter could give you a return financially. And then on the 6th of June, Jupiter comes out of its post retrograde shadow, getting back to the degree that the retrograde began, 25 degrees. And then on the 9th of June, Venus plays catch up with Jupiter and an exact conjunction. So the two planets of fortune are aligning for you in the eighth house. I think I can really predict that some kind of very positive dynamic breakthrough could come for you around that time. It may be in terms of a very close bond. It may be in terms of finance. It may be in terms of your internal development, feeling that you're just growing and enjoying that growth in a very fulfilling way. So that's really, really encouraging. So to summarize for you, Sagittarius, Jupiter doesn't just rule your zodiac sign. It does have a dimension in the emotional sphere. The emotional sphere was tested severely for you over the last couple of years by Saturn. But now, through the lessons learned of that, you know what is important to maintain. You can take some risks, be speculative, whether it's around love, money, ideas, but it needs to always feel safe. And Jupiter is now going to break away from that complex right angle, the energy that was set through its initial visit last June the 9th. And ironically, by June the 9th this year, you're going to get your reward, but it is going to take forbearance. One of the downsides of Jupiter, perhaps in terms of its influence over your side, is overconfidence, or perhaps thinking that everything will land in our laps without too much effort on our parts. But keep working away at it, and that reward will come. In terms of relationships, you can see that Uranus, the planet of freedom, is very close to your seventh house curse. If in a tie there's more give than there's get, it's something that could be reviewed. For sure, with Saturn very close to Venus, if you're not feeling happy, that's something you're going to take very seriously. And if there is going to be a divergence from someone, then obviously that could lead to a division of equity. And Jupiter might require you to be very fair and very just, and very much to do with its rulership of your sign. However, I think that in terms of your professional situation or in terms of finances, there is a chance here to make progress as long as it always feels right. If you've yet to watch your March forecast, please see that on screen. Your Venus in Aries video, that. If you would like to read my Jupiter in Cancer deep dive, please click on the link for that. And if you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it would be a pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. If you'd like to order your personal horoscopes, absolutely brilliant value, totally unique to each person, very accurate. You can get 50% off by applying Astro 26 at the checkout. If you want the Soul, Karmic versions, Draconic, please apply Draco 26 at the checkout. All the best and take care.